Okay, so for a mitered square, you're going to have an uneven number of stitches. So on this needle, I have 9, and it is, I'm going to go ahead and mark my center stitch so I am aware of what that center stitch is. On the first row, we're going to consider it the wrong side, and so I'm just going to knit back. Okay, these mitered squares are done the way we're doing them, and most of them are done in garter stitch. And by the way, mitered squares are done in garter stitch because in garter, your stitch, you can create an actual square because your stitches are the same height as they are width, where that is untrue in stockinette. So my middle stitch, which I have marked, I'm going to purl, and I'm going to be knitting the rest of them. On this particular mitered square, we are not going to do any slip stitch edges. That's a very common thing in mitered squares. But we're not picking anything up later. We're just kind of making it work. So to get that square look, what we're going to do is do a center double decrease. So I'm going to knit one stitch before the center stitch, right? That marked one is my center stitch. I'm going to go ahead and take off my little marker, and I'm going to do a center double decrease. So this is my stitch that was knitted. That's the center. I'm going to come into it, and I'm going to slip those first 2 stitches together knitwise. It's very important that you do them together knitwise. Then I'm going to knit my next stitch, and I am going to pass them over top of that knit stitch together. And you can see that nice elongated look. I'm going to go ahead and put my little marker back there so I know what it is. And I'm going to knit to the end. I'm going to get to my next row. And the cool thing about mitered squares is every row you have fewer stitches. So that's a great joy. And we're going to go ahead and purl. We're going to go ahead and knit, and I'm going to switch my way of knitting. So I'm going to knit to that center stitch, and I'm going to purl that center stitch. That's the only one I'm purling in this whole thing. So I knit my 3, bring my yarn forward and purl that center one, and knit my 3. And then I'm going to come back to that, what we would consider for this, the right side. And I'm going to knit 1 stitch before that center stitch. So knit 1, 2. I'm going to slip these 2 together knitwise. And I'm going to knit the next stitch. And I'm going to come in and grab those first 2. Take them over top. I've got my nice elongated center double decrease. Knit the next 2. Turn my work again. Now I'm on what's considered our wrong side, so I'm going to knit right the first 2 and last 2 and purl the middle. And that. I'm going to be turning my work again. And I'm going to knit 1. I'm already with that knit 1 at my center double decrease. So I'm going to grab my yarn. I'm going to go ahead and slide those 2, knit the next 1, slide them over, knit that last one, turn my work, and I've got knit 1, purl 1 and knit 1. And on my very last row, all I'm doing is a center double decrease. So I'm going to start with slip 2 stitches together knitwise, knit 1, slip those 2 off, and I'm done. And there's my baby. Take this off so you can see it. My itty bitty little baby mitered square. And obviously the one that you're making for your bag is much bigger, but that's what it's going to look like with this nice elongated stitch right up the middle. If you're doing the more complicated one, you're just going to be doing it in 2 colors, and that's the only difference. Have fun.